Come on. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. Give thanks and welcome to the live. Welcome. Come on in. Welcome to the live. Welcome. Yeah. Welcome to the live. Wherever you are on this planet, you are in the right place this Monday. Come on in. Welcome to the live. Today we're talking about how an empath becomes too expensive to mistreat after narcissistic abuse. Welcome in. Come on in. Today we're talking about how an empath becomes too expensive to mistreat after narcissistic abuse. Come on in. This is Gel by KG Hamilton. We miss you too. Welcome in. Come on in. Today we're talking about how an empath becomes expensive after narcissistic abuse. How an empath becomes expensive after narcissistic abuse. So if you want to know more about this, you are in the right place. Come on in. And in the background, we've got Olé by KG Hamilton. Come on in. We're going to get started in about a minute or two. Welcome, Gray. Welcome in. Today we're talking about how an empath becomes expensive after narcissistic abuse. How and why an empath becomes expensive after narcissistic abuse. Come on in. Wherever you are, come on in. What? Come on in. This is Olé by KG Hamilton. You are in the right place. Come on in. You want to? Come on. Today we're talking about how an empath becomes expensive after narcissistic abuse. How does an empath become expensive after narcissistic abuse? That's what we're going to go into today. How an empath becomes expensive after narcissistic abuse. How does an empath become expensive after narcissistic abuse, Yulia? So first of all, there comes a stage. Oh, sovereign being, I'm so glad you made it. There comes a stage in your healing when you, the empath, becomes expensive. And I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about access, where your attention becomes expensive, where your nervous system becomes expensive, where your time becomes expensive, where your body becomes expensive, where your sexuality becomes expensive, where your emotional labor becomes expensive, where your forgiveness, you guessed it, becomes expensive, where your peace becomes, where you become expensive, not because you're arrogant, not because you believe you're superior to anyone, but because you finally, this is the word, finally understand what it cost you to abandon yourself. And once you understand the cost of self-abandonment, you stop giving yourself away cheaply. That is one of the deepest transformations that can happen after narcissistic abuse. And by the way, if anything I'm saying here connects to you, type transform and let me know I'm talking to you. I want to know I'm talking to you. And if this connects with you, type transform in the comments. I want to know I'm talking to you. Isa, I want to know I'm talking to you. I want to know I'm talking to you, Yulia. I want to know I'm talking to you, Star. I want to know I'm talking to you, Dr. Hashana. I want to know I'm talking to you, Not Enough for Me. I want to know I'm talking to you, Dawn Marie. Because I want to take this conversation somewhere deeper, Isa. I want to show you why healing from narcissistic abuse can increase not only your self-worth, but your regulation, your discernment, your intelligence, your spiritual depth, your relational selectivity, and your capacity to recognize incongruence. So the healed empath does not merely, Elizabeth, become harder to manipulate, Elizabeth, sovereign being. The healed empath becomes more expensive to access because access now requires congruence, Jocelyn. It requires congruence. Do you see? Just the narcissistic system required you to be cheap. The narcissistic system required you to be cheap. And there's nothing wrong with cheap things. But when you're treated cheaply, when you're not, I do not mean worthless. I mean underpriced access. Yesterday's price is not today's price. You, empath, me as well, Lion, Joss, you gave enormous amounts of emotional energy in exchange for very little reciprocity, disrespect. You gave understanding, Dawn Marie, without accountability. You gave forgiveness without repair. You gave loyalty without consistency. You gave emotional labor without safety. You become an ATM for people who are not appreciating you. You gave another chance to people without evidence of transformation. You gave your nervous system to people who did not know how to hold it. That's the hidden economy of many abusive relationships. Who am I talking to? The problem was never that you lacked value. The problem was that your internal valuation system had become disconnected from your actual value, Elizabeth. Psychology gives us various ways of understanding this. Iris? In fact, when we go into attachment theory, and if there are any psychologists here, Star, if there are any psychologists here, chime in. Attachment theory, hear this, let your life love you more. That early relational experiences can shape expectations about closeness, about abandonment, about responsiveness and safety. In fact, trauma research demonstrates that chronic interpersonal stress can alter threat processing. You see? So sometimes what we have called love is actually a nervous system trying to resolve uncertainty. You understand? I understand you, Elizabeth. I have a friend called Matthew, and he abhors it when people call him Matt or Maddie. You see, the nervous system begins asking, when will the good version of this person return? That's profoundly different from, is this relationship good for me? And it doesn't matter if it's your father, Lion, if it's your mother, if it's your sister, if it's your child, if it's your neighbor, if it's your wife, if it's your husband. Is this relationship actually good for me? Ask that question. And healing, or the path to healing, changes that question. The biggest, because healing changes your internal economics, Dr. Hashana. Your internal economy changes. Previously, it was attention from someone else may have felt more valuable than your peace. But now you realize that your peace is more valuable than their attention, Joss. Because previously, being chosen felt more important than being respected. Being chosen by other people made you feel validated rather than respected. But now, respect and self-respect determines whether being chosen means anything. And it doesn't matter when you choose yourself. Whoever doesn't choose you is not your problem. Previously, chemistry with another person could override incompatibility. Now you realize that chemistry without character is insufficient, Danny. In the past, potential could outweigh evidence. Potential could outweigh evidence. Now, evidence outweighs potential. Am I talking to you? That is psychological maturation, and spiritual, it's even deeper. You are no longer asking, do they want me? Do they want me? You are asking, what happens to my consciousness in their presence? What happens to my consciousness in the presence of the narcissist who's my daughter, my child, my sister, my brother, my wife, my husband, my mother, my grandmother? That's an entirely different level of intelligence, which is bringing you, St. Moritz, to the place of wholeness and regulation, away from fragmentation. Because one of the most important things I can tell you about today is regulation. Because an unregulated nervous system can confuse intensity with intimacy, urgency with importance. Oh, it's urgent, it's urgent. Anxiety with attraction. Come on. Hypervigilance with intuition. That's what I'm telling you about, spoken. Relief without love. And unpredictability with this kind of passion around it. But as you become more regulated, you realize that your nervous system continuously participates in evaluating threat and safety. So your amygdala, I talked about this weekend with those who are in the masterclass, your hippocampus, your prefrontal networks, all of this participate in how we interpret and respond to our environment. Meaning that chronic relational stress can bias your internal system towards vigilance. So you become very skilled at seeing hate, facial expressions, and so forth. And that adaptation can look like extraordinary sensitivity. But this is where healing becomes fascinating. You see, the goal of healing is not to destroy your sensitivity. The goal of healing is to remove your fear from sensitivity. Then your sensitivity can become discernment, wisdom. So you would notice the micro shifts, but you simply don't panic because of it. You see things as they are. Knowledge and vision of things as they are, as my teacher pointed out recently. Seeing things as they are. But you notice someone's withdrawal, observe but don't react to stuff. You notice someone withdrawing, but you don't chase them. You notice somebody disapproving you, but you don't automatically change yourself. You notice someone getting angry, but you don't immediately assume responsibility for regulating their anger. You notice someone manipulating, but you don't need to defeat the manipulator. You simply adjust access. And when you adjust access, Deborah Montana, that is regulation. And regulation is expensive. Someone say it with me. Regulation is expensive. Regulation is expensive, Star. Because once someone possesses it, once you possess regulation, chaos loses most of its negotiating power. Now, let me tell you how healing makes you even more intelligent than you already are. Because properly integrated trauma can produce a sophisticated relational intelligence. I'm not saying that trauma automatically makes people wiser. It does not. It does not. Trauma can impair your functioning, it can distort your perception and create a lot of suffering. But here is the point. Trauma that is consciously processed and integrated becomes a data point information. You begin to recognize patterns. You begin to see contradictions. You begin to see emotional contingencies. You begin to see power dynamics like nobody's business. You begin to see projections. You begin to see intermittent reinforcement. You begin to see deflection. You begin to see gaslighting. You begin to see how they try to broach your boundaries, to break your boundaries. You begin to see how they are very concerned with image management. You begin to see the covert tactics and covert contracts. And you begin to understand something fundamental, that words are data, but patterns are stronger data. Words are data, but patterns are stronger data. And that changes everything, because you stop listening exclusively to what people say and you begin to study the correspondence between words and behavior, promises and repetition, apologies and repair. As the saying goes, the best kind of apology is change behavior. The words don't mean nada. You see the nexus between identity and contact, intention and consequence. That is high order pattern recognition. Who am I talking to? Who am I talking to? And the truly intelligent empath eventually learns another crucial distinction, that your intuition must still be tested against evidence. That's maturity. So instead of saying, I feel something, therefore it must be true, you learn to say, something in me is registering information. Let me remain present long enough to determine what this information means. That is powerful. And remember, your intuition is like a relationship, brown grits. So when you develop this relationship with your intuition, guess what happens? It becomes clearer. It becomes more supportive to you. And you stop reacting to everything you see, Kiki. This is one of the biggest signs of development, which is why one of the things you do with metacognition is silence and observation, because your perception no longer creates obligation. You can recognize manipulation without announcing you're manipulating me. You can recognize a narcissist without having to say you are a narcissist. New synapses, that's right, in your brain. You can recognize projection from a narcissist or an NPC without defending yourself. You can recognize envy without shrinking. You can recognize dishonesty without conducting a trial. You can recognize incompatibility, queen, without turning the other person into a villain. You're just incompatible. You can recognize disrespect without writing a dissertation explaining why you deserve respect. Let me say this a few more times. You can recognize disrespect without writing a dissertation explaining why you deserve respect. So sometimes your answer simply becomes no access, or modified access. Isabel, this is what regulation does. Oh, like you're saying, I don't live here. New synapses, that's all part of it, Dawn Marie. And when you decide no access, it introduces a space between stimulus and response, a trigger and a reaction. And in that space, intelligence becomes available, finding the space between the stimulus and response, a trigger and a reaction. You no longer react because you realize that craving attention of a narcissist has lost its power. You know, the Buddhist perspective is this. It's called craving, Tana. And craving says something like, I need my mother to choose me. I need my father to understand me. I need my wife or husband to apologize. I need my fiance to validate what happened. I need closure from my boss. I need justice before I can have peace with my neighbor. Oh, brown grits girl, brown grits, brown grits, brown grits, your generosity is so beautiful and divine. May I be abundant. May you be abundant. May we all be abundant. May you be joyful. And may this be replenished 1,000 and a million fold. May this donation that you've made, brown grits girl, elevate you. And may your kindness always be rewarded. And the kindness of everyone here. Brown grits girl, one love. Thank you. You see? You no longer say, I need my child to become who they promised to become, brown grits. But inside begins loosening this dependency on other people. This is where mindfulness becomes revolutionary. So in Buddhism, there's something called the Satipatthana practice, where you begin to see your body as your body. Wherever you are, just say to yourself, this is my body, and my body is the body. Then notice how you're feeling. You can label that. Feeling is feeling. Notice what you're thinking. You can label that mind as mind. So you begin recognizing phenomena when they arise. Like, oh, this is longing. This is fear. This is attachment. This is grief. Grief has come. Not sadness. Sadness has arrived. Not I am sad. I am grieving. Or this is who I am. And this distinction is enormous because the moment you can observe an internal state without becoming identical to it, you have introduced freedom in yours. Oh, Satipatthana, I don't live here. Yes, it's Vipassana. It is Vipassana. I don't live here. I love it. It is Vipassana. Oh my goodness, I get happy when somebody recognizes the Dharma of the little codes that I throw in here. You see, the narcissistic dynamic loses power when every internal sensation no longer requires external resolution because your reaction starts first as a sensation. From the Christ-conscious perspective, it says love your neighbor as yourself, but not more than yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. What does this mean? Notice the architecture, Dr. Hashana. This teaching does not require the destruction of yourself in order to love another. In fact, you cannot love another without loving yourself. And the reason why the narcissists hated you and me is because they hate themselves. You can't give what you don't have. Healthy love of another presupposes a relationship with oneself. So this Christ-centric theology repeatedly presents the human being as possessing the intrinsic dignity before the source. So self-worth, becoming expensive, properly understood, is not narcissistic inflation. It's stewardship. Your body is not disposable. Your consciousness is not disposable. Your dignity is not disposable. Your gifts are not disposable. Your life is not something another person gets to consume merely because you love them. Even Yeshua repeatedly withdrew from crowds. Yeshua did not make universal accessibility synonymous with love, and that distinction matters. Compassion does not require unlimited access. We got to listen to some music. Who am I talking to? If I'm talking to you, just type transform. I want to know. And this song is called Gel by K.G. Hamilton. This is about praising the maker and the creator within you. This is K.G. Hamilton, Gel. Who am I talking to? Who am I talking to? Come on. My Lord, oh. Come on. K.G. Hamilton, Nigeria. Hey. Come on. This is how you know you're becoming expensive. Hey! Expensive! You must know how expensive you are. Because the source of humankind lives in you. That's what makes you expensive. And that's why I'm saying this with so much passion. You are expensive. You are expensive. This is the point. You see? This is the point. This is the point. This is the point. So let's go deeper. You must understand that attention is expensive and attention is energy. Because across contemplative traditions, attention is treated as profoundly consequential. What you repeatedly attend to begins organizing your subjective mind. In fact, in psychology, there's something remarkable compatible with this because attention changes salience. Repeated attention strengthens learning. Repeated thoughts can reinforce cognitive and behavioral pathways. Someone talked about neural pathways. And repeated exposure conditions your responses. So when spiritual teachers say where attention goes, energy flows, we should not confuse that statement with the literal law of physics. Let me tell you more. Attention is expensive. It's one of your most valuable resources. So ask yourself this. How much consciousness did you spend analyzing the narcissist? What are they thinking? Why did they say that? Who are they talking to? Do they miss me? Will they return? Are they happy? When will karma reach them? Notice what happens. Notice what happens. That the narcissist can leave your house while remaining in your attention. That's why we talk about no resonance. You release. So that means that physical separation is not necessarily psychological liberation. Physical separation from a narcissist or a narcissistic system is not necessarily psychological liberation. Healing only happens when your attention goes from this to this. When you become the primary object of your own attention, the primary object of your own stewardship, your breath, your body, your purpose, your children, your creativity, your work, your dharma, your health, your calling, and your consciousness. When you begin to focus on these things, you become the primary object of your own stewardship, paying strict attention to yourself, Isa, focusing on your breath, your body, your purpose, your children, your work, your dharma, your health, your consciousness. That is an energetic reclamation without needing supernatural claims to understand its power. You understand? This is what it needs to become expensive. You see, you start to have high standards. And people may say to you, your standards are too high. But what if your standards are not actually high? Your standards are just compatible with who you truly are. They're congruent. For example, if you give honesty, you should expect honesty. And if you don't get it, there's no reciprocity. If you give consistency, you can expect consistency. And if it's not there, there is no reciprocity. If you communicate, you can expect communication. If it's not there, there is no reciprocity. If you repair after hurting someone, then after they hurt you, they should repair. And if they don't, there is no reciprocity. If you respect someone else's boundaries, you can expect them to respect your boundaries. And if it doesn't happen, there is no reciprocity. If you take responsibility, you can expect responsibility. And if it's not there, there is no reciprocity. Somebody say with me, that's not entitlement, That is relational symmetry. That is relational symmetry. You can say that, Danny. They're just archetypes. They're not real people. You stop demanding from others what you refuse to give yourself. And you stop giving others what they repeatedly refuse to reciprocate. Who am I talking to? Who am I talking to? And this is why you become harder to love cheaply. You become harder to love from a cheapskate because, notice what I said, you don't become harder to love. You become harder to love cheaply because cheap love requires ambiguity. Cheap love requires breadcrumbs. Cheap love requires future promises without evidence. Cheap love requires you to romanticize potential. Cheap love requires you to ignore your body. Cheap love requires you to negotiate against your own needs and oh, come on. Who am I talking to? Where are you? Cheap love requires you to abandon yourself to keep another person. And once self-abandonment disappears, cheap love becomes extraordinarily difficult to sell to you. This is why the empath becomes expensive, House of Sheik. To have access to you now costs something. And this is what it costs. It doesn't cost money, or it may. It costs integrity. Integrity is what is required to get into relationship with you after you awaken. It costs. What makes you expensive is that relationships now require consistency. It costs emotional maturity to be in relationship with you. It costs honesty to be in relationship with you. It costs accountability to be in relationship with you. It costs presence to be in relationship with you. It costs the capacity to repair to be in relationship with you. It costs respect for boundaries to be in relationship with you. It costs congruence, resonance to be in relationship with you. And people accustomed to obtaining your energy through confusion will experience your clarity as expensive. People accustomed to obtaining your fake forgiveness without accountability will experience your standards as expensive. Am I talking to someone? And if I'm talking to you, just type transform. You did not suddenly become difficult. The price of admission simply became integrity. The price of admission became, somebody say it with me, integrity. I can hear you. Say it louder. The price of admission to be in a relationship with you is integrity. Integrity. Integral integrity. So the final stage is you don't need the narcissist to lose, Joss. This is the deeper stage. You don't need the narcissist to lose. Because initially, healing may want vindication or revenge. Revenge. You know I'm talking to you. I'm not going to mention any name. But hopefully you get the joke. You want them to regret losing you. Louisville, you want the new supply to discover the truth. You want karma. You want everyone to understand what happened. That phase is understandable. But eventually, something deeper can happen. Woo! You stop organizing your consciousness. You stop organizing your consciousness around whether they win or lose. Their collapse is no longer your liberation. Their punishment is no longer your healing. Their recognition of your worth is no longer necessary for your worth. You simply become available to the entire, you become less available to anything that doesn't honor you the way you honor yourself. That's differentiation from a psychological standpoint. Buddhism may describe this as relinquishment and equanimity. Or in the Christian faith, you may call that surrender. Or in an esoteric perspective, you may call this reclamation of your power, reclamation of your power. Famana, darling, you see, this is what it is. Your center of gravity begins to return to you. So in closing, empath, become expensive. Empath, become expensive. Let your nervous system get used to being expensive, because you have been on the clearance rack of the clearance rack, in the clearance section of the clearance section, in the clearance section for too long. For too long. And you become expensive, not financially, but energetically. You become expensive psychologically. You become expensive spiritually. You become expensive with your attention. You become expensive with your availability. You become expensive with your emotional labor. You become expensive with your forgiveness. Am I talking to you? Am I talking to you? You become expensive with your peace. You become expensive with your loyalty. You become expensive not because others are beneath you. There's no one beneath you and there's no one higher than you. But because you are no longer beneath yourself. You become expensive because you are no longer beneath yourself. You become expensive because you're no longer beneath yourself. You become expensive because you are no longer beneath yourself. And that may be one of the greatest transformations after narcissistic abuse. You stop asking other people to recognize your worth. You stop asking other people to see your worth. And you begin organizing your life as evidence that you recognize your worth yourself. You begin living your life as evidence that you recognize your own worth. And once your nervous system, your behavior, your boundaries, and your relationship and attention understands that all your cells hear this, the architecture of narcissistic abuse starts to lose its foundation, because narcissistic abuse required something from you that the healed version of you can no longer provide, and that is self-betrayal. Your regulation has become too refined, or will become too refined. Your discernment becomes precise, and all the solitude you've experienced becomes nourishing. Your peace becomes too valuable. Your consciousness becomes intentional. Live intentionally. Your love becomes intelligent because there's wisdom. And you become too expensive to mistreat. And the beautiful paradox is, the more expensive you become to dysfunctional people and systems, the more available you become to genuine love. And because healthy love does not need you to discount yourself. Healthy love can afford the price, your price. Healthy love does not need you to discount yourself. Healthy love can afford the price, because the price was never money. The price was never money. The price was truth, integrity. So if this is resonating with you, type transform. If you want to meet me, you can book a free session with me at innermileage.com. We're also going to have another masterclass in November. More details coming for an Escaping Narcissistic Abuse masterclass. And gratitude to all those who are in the masterclass this Lionsgate weekend. May you all be abundant. So this is what it is. The price is truth. And once you become truthful to yourself, once you stop discounting yourself, this is what it is. You become too expensive. This is Kata Kata by KG Hamilton. You become expensive. Expensive. If you're resonating with this, type transform. Let me know which city you're signing in from. Which country, which city. Come on. Inner mileage. This is what it's about. Woo! Become expensive. Become expensive. Thank you, Elizabeth. become Alabama, Louisville, Fayetteville, North Carolina, Louisville, Muhammad Ali, Netherlands, all is good. Massachusetts, Tacoma. What up, Tacoma? One love, Tacoma. Oh, South India, U.S. Virgin Islands. Yeah. Southern California, Santa Clarita. What's up? Powder Springs, Georgia. Yes, Miranda. What flag is that? Mirando. Where is that? I can't recognize the flag. Bay Area. South Africa. What up, South Africa? India. What up, India? What up, Richmond? What up, Suriname? Suriname. Mount Jessie. What up, Suriname? What up, St. William? What up? What up, ATL? Hey, become expensive. Say it with me. I am expensive, Felix. Say it with me. I am expensive. George, Suriname. George, say it with me. I am expensive. Danny, I am expensive. Okay, Goldie, I am expensive. Barkline, I am expensive. Overcomer, I am expensive. Felix, I am expensive. Cape Town, I am expensive. Erica Day, I am expensive. Julia, I am expensive. Dr. Hashana, I am expensive. Miranda, I am expensive. I don't live here, I am expensive. Newsbot, I am expensive. Brindy, I am expensive. I am expensive. Amma, I am expensive. Amma, what's up, Amma? What it is? I am expensive. Michelle, this is what you tell yourself. I am expensive. I am expensive. Again, this is Gel from Kitty Hamilton. This Gel is about giving thanks for how expensive you are. Gel. This is Kitty Hamilton Gel. Hey, you better know you're expensive. You can find me if you want to learn about more expensive things, about how expensive you are, inthemileage.com. Danny, they can't afford you, Dreamy. Red 78 Ball, they can't play with you. Gustav, you are priceless. I am expensive. Hey, I'm expensive. Hey, what? I'm expensive. I am expensive. Hey, this is expensive now, son. Expensive, 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 expensive. Hey, self-love. Woo! Expensive. You must know you are expensive. You must know you are expensive. Expensive. Expensive, Joss. I love that, Joss. Expensive. Hey. Come on. Hey. Hey. Expensive. Hey, look at me. Expensive. 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 Look at my face. Expensive. Yesterday's price, as Fat Joe said, is not today's price. Yesterday's price is not today's price. You can't afford it. You can't afford it because you are ordained by the divine in you. You have chosen kindness, not wickedness. That's how you know you're a royal priesthood. Expensive. 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 Ooh! Expensive! I'm expensive! You say that to yourself. Tell yourself. Tell yourself. I'm speaking from my guts to you. Tell yourself, I am expensive. You must feel it from your core. I am expensive. I'm not better than anybody, and I'm not worse than anybody. I am expensive in my authority. Look at me. Say it with me. I am expensive. I am expensive. You can still hear me. I am expensive. I am expensive. I am expensive. I am expensive. One love, all. One love, Aztec. It's not an accident you went Aztec. Aztec is the portal. But you knew that. This Lion's Gate. I am expensive, say to myself, especially if you've been taken for granted. You've been used and abused. Yes, you are expensive, Yulia. Used and abused, no more. Taken for granted, no more. Self-abandoning, no more. Being on the clearance rack of the clearance rack, no mas. You know, expensive. If you want to learn more about how expensive you are, let me give you a mirror. Come to Inner Mileage. Inner Mileage is a mirror portal, so you see yourself. There is no one higher than you. You are your own authority. You are responsible for saving yourself. And when you save yourself, you save the world. No mas, no more. There be, oh, nah, no. Niet, no. Never. I am expensive. You must tell yourself that. No longer for self. No more, Joss. No more. Yes, you are expensive, Zenaya. Yes, you are expensive, the biggest, your senior. Yes, you are. No more free passes. But to anyone who approaches you with integrity and truth, come on. This is what it is. We are expensive. 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 Thank you so much, yeah? If you want to meet me, book a free session with me at innermileage.com. And even if we're not compatible, I will tell you the truth. You will see the truth. And I'm not for everyone, and I don't want to be for everyone, but I am for the serious empath who is tired of being on the sales rack. The person who's trying to overcome their trauma, whatever that trauma is, and elevate to their true highest self. Do what you came to do. Because all limiting belief, yes, Alima, all limiting self-beliefs come from trauma. So when you understand your trauma, you can be boundless. We are expensive. You understand me? So one love. One love. Innermileage.com. One love. One love. You understand me? This is your brother, your servant, Dr. Nana Gyesie. Or you can just call me Nana. This is what we're here for. Thank you so much. Yeah, one love. Spread love. And remember, when you heal, the world heals. When you heal, the world around you heals. Those who are psychically connected to you can save themselves too because you saved yourself. Because we're all connected. But you have to do your own work. You're responsible for your own karma. So you can't save anyone. You can only save another person. The best way to save another person is to save yourself. Like you're told when you're on the plane, right? Because even if you had a twin, you couldn't save them. If you have a child, you can't save them. But you can be the reason why the trauma ends. Well, thank you, Thank you. Thank you. More you, less me. More you. More you, less me. More you, less me. Not me, not mine, not myself. We are in this together. You understand? So this is your humble servant signing off. This Monday, right after the Lionsgate weekend. The energies is still here. So don't forget to let go of what doesn't work for you. And keep rising. You understand? Forgive, let go. And anything you want to know is at innermileage.com. Yes? One love. Thank you so much. One love. One love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And let me know if you want to learn more about meditation in the future. If you want meditation to be a feature of this, we can begin to switch it up and add more meditation. If you just want to hear the pure knowledge, that's okay too. That's all right too. But wherever you are, I'm telling you, remember, there's no one like you. There's no one like you. There's no one like you. So peace. Yeah? One love. Come on. Yep. One love, all. Thank you so much.